if you are somebody that is in your garage, you've been sitting around doing work all day, you're creating a little bit of space for yourself. I mean, if there's one habit, no matter what, that you can do, it's just finding a way to create space for yourself.
You can almost think about it in a mental model of like habits,
Yeah.
when someone's trying to develop new habits, you taking for granted so many of the constants that are inside of that formulaically. Like the truth is, you're great at habits. You're just not acknowledging the fact that the cognitive dissonance between the habits that you want versus the ones
Yeah.
that you're practicing, right? So it's that like reframe of how much I took for granted that were anchors in my day, that were the railroad tracks that basically I operated from.
Yeah.
Right? Like my OS, if you will, and then I think what I'm experiencing, which I imagine some of my friends are who are in the similar situation with all this stuff, is that as soon as you remove all those railroad tracks, you're basically just floating around the day.
Yeah.
And as you're floating around the day on house arrest, what are the first things that go in trauma? Well, all of the, gym and good diet, and healthy sleep and turning the TV and the phone off at a respectable time at night. I know this isn't where we intended on going on this thing. We're hopefully going to get around to what the hell you're supposed to do in your garage to maintain your sanity, but it's all part of this brew, right? It's like the person that goes to work every day is the same one that comes home. You got to be able to have that divide, right? So it's like, what's the divide now if you are at home? It's you got to force feed yourself these railroad tracks to start out the day, to be able to give yourself the structure, to be able to create the extra time, to be able to eat the right thing, to be able to have the workout time, to be able to get to bed on time. It's 10 times harder than it was before because we can't take for granted those anchors that currently existed or that pre-existed.
Yeah, I mean, you say that it's not, everybody wants like a tactical, like go do this in your garage and it's going to solve all your problems. But the truth is like the longer I'm in it, the more people I work with, the more people I talk to, the bigger my reach is, the more questions I get, the more everything. The problem isn't that we live, the information era is in a way it's over. It's like we already know all the exercises. You can't make them up anymore. You already know all the rep schemes. If you really wanted to learn, you just pop on YouTube and be like, okay, what do I do with a body weight push-up? What does that look like? There's trillions of videos, right? So we're in the era of context now, where context is, it has to be the way that we relate to that information has to change. So no, does waking up and taking a shower get you in better shape? Is it the most tactical way that you're going to go about getting a bigger bicep? No. But if you can't figure out how to structure time or create a system in your life in a completely new like environment, even though it's your house, it's a completely new ecosystem that you live in, you're never going to have time or energy or the ability to get into your garage to do the perfect bicep workout. It's just not possible. Like the people that succeed in situations like this and the people that fall off are the ones that understand that they have to create that ecosystem that is healthy. And that ecosystem is a full life outlook. It's not just, you can't silo fitness, because if you just silo fitness, then you're standing outside your pantry saying, oh, well, I already did the work.
But here's the reality. The reality too, though, is that you've got to start somewhere. I mean, one of my favorite books of all time, instantly up to the top 5 on my wisdom bookshelf, is James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
And it's that concept of the 1%, right? And the reason why I love it so much for myself is that when I'm off, I'm off. And the capitulating angle of being off compounds irreversibly sometimes, because what then ensues is the judgment. And then the gap, the cognitive gap of where I was before I got off to where I now am, creates analysis paralysis. And so what's the only way to correct that? Well, you can't eat the elephant. You just got to say, well, what's the one step closest in? And for a lot of people, You got to bring the body and the mind will follow. If you
Yeah,
try to bring the mind, the body doesn't want to follow, right? So it's
totally.
like you bring the body. So here you are. Your gym's closed. You've brought the body. You've brought it into your garage. You're sitting there staring at your freaking
Yeah.
car or whatever. It's like, what's the one thing? Let's inspire that with our time we've got left. What's the 2 or 3 or one thing or whatever they can do to move that needle 1%, because they brought the body to the garage
Yeah.
and they say, I'm tired of this. I got to make a change. It starts right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you exactly what I do now. I mean, my schedule's changed so much. And I used to travel a lot to go to these events where the CrossFit Games or Mr. Olympia or all these places where everyone's hanging out and all the events are canceled now. So we record all of our podcasts and all of our shows, and we do all of our business at 6:30 in the morning now because we're all dads and we all have families, and it's the only time that we own. So instead of me just getting up and going and get a cup of coffee, now I now have to create space to be at the top of my game at 6:30 in the morning. So that first hour of my day, it's not going into my garage, but it's, a set of 20 air squats. It's a set of 20 push-ups, doing that once or twice just to get some blood flow moving, then having a cup of coffee, sitting down, having conversation before. If you are somebody that is in your garage, you've been sitting around doing work all day, you're creating a little bit of space for yourself. I mean, if there's one habit, no matter what, that you can do, it's just finding a way to create space for yourself. In 10 minutes, I mean, we just put out a brand new ebook called 100 AMRAPs for Time, in which it's 100 10-minute workouts that you can do in your house with no equipment.
I love
The,
that.
the easiest possible things that you can do. The most equipment you're going to need is grabbing a backpack and putting a bunch of books in it, just so there's some sort of weight that you're moving around. But the ability to just move your body, if it's burpees, awesome. If it's push-ups, awesome. But take 2, maybe 3 movements, turn a clock on for 10 minutes, and you just go. And you clear your mind, clear some space. Don't look at your phone, just go. And in 10 minutes, you can radically shift all of the energy that you've kind of been pent up throughout the day. If you're able to upgrade that from just body weight, I think that a set of jump stretch bands is really like the greatest thing that you can do. The amount of tension that you can create is it's almost equal to a barbell if you get in there and you have time to play.
Now you talk about jump stretch. Those are like the ones on Amazon that are like different colors, and the different colors are different like tensions and stuff, right?
Yeah, there's going to be super thin ones. And it doesn't really matter the amount that you stretch them. It's going to get harder and harder and harder.
Right.
A little bit thicker is obviously a little harder. You should probably get 3 to 4 bands of different thickness, and then that's going to allow you to be creative. If you understand how weights are moved, you'll soon realize very quickly that this is just standing on a band and pulling up, stand up. You're going to be able to get your glutes and hamstrings turned on, rowing, so you can activate your back muscles. There's countless exercises that you can do. If I had to just pick a couple for you to do, I think anything that you can do that's going to get your posterior chain. You're going to be sitting in your house a lot more. You're moving a lot less. So your ability to kind of turn your glutes and hamstrings on, which are the big movers in your lower half, it's going to save you just a ton of just kind of like that funk that you get in. Waking up the biggest muscles is going to make a huge difference. If you can get some ab work in, I highly recommend that. Just some sit-ups. I'm not a huge fan of the sit-ups, but for ease of conversation, they're fantastic for just getting some general movement in.
Yeah.
And you don't need much. I mean, you're going to be able to buy 4 sets of bands for $15, and you'll have everything that you need.
My favorite thing about what you're saying right now, and I'd love it if are you able to share where that ebook is? Is it on Amazon, or where do you got it?
If you go to barbellshrugged.com/store, I'm going to tell you exactly what the link is right now. You think I would know it? because I'm here. I want to say it's barbellshrug.com / 100 AMRAPs for time. Yeah, if you just go to barbellshrug.com / store, it's an ebook.
Okay.
And put your email in, $47, 100 workouts. We put the for time thing because I think it's a cool. If you've got 20 minutes, do 2 of them. If you got 3, if you got 30 minutes, do 3. For the most part, the way that we've been thinking about this specific product that we put out is that, look, the majority of people that are struggling the most right now have families. They've got 2 people working in their house. We're parents first, so we're constantly looking after, like, we're juggling whose turn it is to watch the kid. Like that, it's like you just look at each other's schedules and you wonder, like, okay, we've got calls at this time and you've got a call at this time. Who's watching who? Who's got nap time? We're all doing the juggle. And I know everyone's doing the juggle because my wife's downstairs and she's talking to her coworkers. My coworkers are doing it. Our employees are doing it. Everyone's juggling.
Right.
So you can find 10 minutes. And the stuff you don't have to worry about, dropping barbells or heavy weights when your kids are around. It just kind of looks like you're jumping around in your garage, but it's in a very structured way. So barbellshrug.com / store. Just look for the ebook that says 100 AMRAPs for time. And we're just looking at them really as just like movement snacks in a way. It's kind of like what I do in the morning just to get moving for shows and get the blood flow. They're fantastic for garage gym workouts with very little to no equipment needed, and you just show up, have fun, move.